Hi, everybody. This season, Live Behind the Bricks has taken us through many interesting and exciting locations all over the world that make up the LEGO Group. Today, our all-access passport takes us back to the rocky east coast of America, to the home of my favorite sports team, the Red Sox. We are in Boston, Massachusetts. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Live Behind the Bricks. I'm Jake Blaze. I'm the creative lead for Learning Through Play here at the LEGO Group. Super excited to see so many of you who have joined today's session, and I know that some of you will be watching this as a replay, so our usual warm LEGO welcome wherever and whenever you're tuning in from. Today, we are meeting more of my colleagues from our hub in the Boston area, and I'm going to be asking loads of questions to find out what they do there, how they do it, and how they apply play into their everyday work. But not all the questions are coming from me. You can ask questions too at any time. So please drop them into the Q&A function. That's that little box with a question mark. And my amazing producers backstage will send them along. If we don't get to every question, don't worry about it. We will try to answer any questions that we miss after the session. So let's get started. Through the magic of modern podcasting technology, my amazing LEGO colleagues will now join the screen in 3, 2, 1. Wow, it worked. Hey, everybody.
Whoa.
Welcome.
Hey,
Nice to see you all. I'd love it would just take a round and introduce yourselves and tell us about what is your job at the LEGO Group and maybe how long you've been working for the LEGO Group. Let's start with Humaira.
Hi, everyone. I'm with LEGO Group for the last 3 years, although I did take a 6-month maternity leave, and I don't think that first year counts. But I sit in our commercial global division, and I'm the lead on all product development for all of our adults products, making sure that it hits both the commercial and creative value. So yeah, dream job.
Fantastic. That is a dream job. So many fantastic adult products coming out right now. We will definitely get into some questions about that. Kelly, will you go next?
Yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. Thanks to everyone calling in. I see folks from around the world. My name is Kelly Weiss. I lead our Americas recruitment team, and I've been here for just over a year, but similar to my lovely teammate, I spent 6 months of those on maternity leave. So I'm just coming back from having my second son, and I'm really happy to be here.
Wow, welcome back. Great news.
Thank you.
Let's pass it off to Chris.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chris. I've been with the LEGO Group for about 7 months now. I work in a team called the Creative Play Lab in the play engineering space. I'm the director of the Embedded Processing Group, and we deliver firmware for all of our tech-enabled elements.
Welcome, new joiner, Chris. So you're just kind of getting up to speed now with being here in the last 7 months.
Yeah, I've got a long way to go to catch up to some of my colleagues.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard. Kimberly Michael.
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Kimberly Michael Thompson. I've been at the LEGO Group for a little over 6 months now, and I work as an associate brand and communication strategist at our LEGO agency, which is our in-house creative agency.
Fantastic. I actually got my start in the in-house creative agency in the States as well. So I would love to talk about the family back there. All right, James.
Hi, everyone. My name is James Boding. I've been with the LEGO Group for just about 8 years, and I am an associate brand manager servicing our U.S. business unit.
Cool. Welcome. All right. I'd love to kick it off. There were a lot of questions last time about our new location. So it'd be great if we could just kind of jump in a little bit and get some of those out of the way. Kelly, would you tell us a bit about this amazing new space that we're building in Boston?
Putting me in the hot seat. First one
Yes.
up. All right, here we go. Let me get my stretches out. Super pumped about the new office. And just to give you a overview of why this is going to be so great for the Boston area, Bostonians love outdoor indoor plazas. It does not matter what season we are in. we will go hang out. And so any opportunity for a new one is amazing. And the fact that we get to call this our home is going to be so exciting. So it's in the Lyric Back Bay, which overlooks two of my favorite neighborhoods in Boston. Fenway for the sports enthusiasts here, although I'm from Denver, big Denver fan all across the board. So unless the Rockies are in town, I don't really go to Fenway much, but also overlooks the Charles River. And if any of you have ever spent some time on the Esplanade, it's just such a uniting part of the city of Boston. Being a big fly fisherwoman myself, my favorite part of the views that we're gonna have is I'm gonna be able to see if the fish are biting, might even be able to run out there with my rod. So that's just the building itself. But when you think about our office, I know a lot of you on this call are probably fans of Lego bricks. You've probably been to a Lego store. You've experienced the palpable magic that comes from our spaces. We can't inspire the builders of tomorrow if our employees aren't learning through play and engaged and feeling passionate. So when you walk into a Lego space, it's just buzzing. And it's just an amazing experience. And this one is not going to disappoint with all the sunshine and the views of all of Boston, but just the opportunity to get together and learn through play together as a team. It's going to be really special.
Fantastic. I'm happy to hear about the learning through play elements that will be baked into the building and how we interact. I love to tap into how you're using learning through play in your roles as we go forward. The key question I have for you, though, Kelly, is if I'm in the new Boston office, will I actually be able to catch a pop fly ball from out of Fenway?
Sure hope not. But we do have sky terraces that you'll be able to see it all from on each one of our floors. So we're going to have 5 floors of the new building. So guaranteed you'll be able to see some of those fly balls, although you might not be able to catch it, even if you bring a big mitt.
Okay, so from October, I'll have binoculars there.
Yeah, and don't forget about the awesome concerts at Fenway, too.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I'd love to talk a bit about Creative Play Lab. You mentioned Creative Play Lab. Tell us, I know a little bit, but maybe the people online would like to hear, what is that exactly when we say Creative Play Lab, and how is it that we are being innovative there?
Sure. So our main mission is really to disrupt play and change the future of it. Quite frankly, our ambitions are very large. And there's a number of teams within Creative Play Lab, from the engineering side to play discovery and innovation, very front-end funnel work. We look at technologies that I think people would not normally associate with the Lego Group. And we try and find ways to bring novel and innovative things into that play domain for that future. So, it could be something that's 5 years out. It could be something that's nearing production. We go napkin to production delivery the whole way through.
When you talk about new technologies, is there an example you can give us that doesn't give anything away?
Oh man, I really wish I could. It's really hard to talk about it without giving it all away. But if you take our current product portfolio and the tech-enabled elements that we have in things such as the Audi, the e-tron here, right? We build these hubs that have motors and sensors and actuators and mobile application connectivity and things like that. We're going to the next level. It's not just yet another little hub or yet another thing. This is just a whole nother thing. I really honestly can't wait to be able to talk about this in more detail in the future.
Kimberly, Michael, there's a question coming in about the agency. I'd love to hear a little bit more about the agency. Can you tell us what kinds of roles are there for people who are interested in agency work in Boston, and maybe a little bit about what our America's Agency does?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, OLA, it really stands for Our Lego Agency. So essentially, we are the creative services agency for parts of the business, like James' team, who runs brand marketing. And the way that relationships work is that we treat them as our clients. So they come to us with business things that need to be solved, and we essentially help them. So the team is comprised of strategists, creatives. We have communication partners who work as account managers. We also have project managers. And and a plethora of other people who just help kind of manage the operations of the organization. But it's really, really awesome. I mean, my work specifically as a strategist, we are taking the briefs that we receive from the teams and really diving deep into what the insight is that we're going to use to inspire our creatives. We also help with a lot of the communications planning, so like where does the creative live? How does it show up for our consumers and what is their experience with it? So yeah, it's really cool. A lot of the people have agency background. Plenty of my coworkers have kind of worked across industry. So it's a fun group, and we get to do a lot of the like fun, cool work. So I like that part.
You mentioned that we're getting briefs from our marketing team, like James, for example. James, can you tell us a little bit about that marketing team? What is the shape? Where do these briefs come from? What are we trying to accomplish in marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think marketing at the Lego Group is one of the most fascinating and wonderful places to explore new ideas and really connect both the consumer, so our kids that are in market that are playing with our toys, and understanding, how we can reach them better, how we can service them, and continue to make the Lego brand exciting and new. And so we're evolving always how we do that, how we go to market. And so the brand manager function really sits between the business performance and the strategic ambitions we have for our upcoming year. And then turning into the creative side, we really look at how we enable our Lego agency to lead us in developing campaigns and go-to-market strategies for answering those business questions. So the brief writing process is probably our most important role in brand marketing, is really tying the synergies of the business strategy to the creative development process that kicks off with our Lego agency, but also and then really enables a lot of collaboration and that one team mindset that we have at the Lego Group. It really takes, I'm just at the very, you could say the end, all the work that Humera, Chris, Kimberly, Michael are doing lead up to our go-to-market strategy. And it's a joy to bring that to the market.
And I guess a big part of that consumer-facing strategy comes from the branded channels department, right? And maybe I could ask Humera to tell us a bit about what that means and how does that come to life?
Yeah, so recently, I guess, graduating from branded channels and moving to GCD, I can share everything about branded channels. So Lego Group sells products within their own and operated channels, which means that all of the Lego stores within and outside USA, all of the licensed stores, all the stores at Legoland and theme parks, and then of course our .com in a global area, like everywhere globally. Some of them are managed by us and some by third-party partners. So that's what we mean when we say branded channels. And if I could just, I guess, plug a little bit about product there. So when we talk about product and we create portfolios, we have a portfolio specifically for branded channels, and those are the people we think, who come there. They're our biggest fans. They want the hottest and newest things. They want the epitome of Lego sets, the pinnacle experiences. And that's what we aim to provide in our branded channel. So when you come to a branded channel, you might see a product that does not exist in another B2B retailer. It'll come there eventually. But yeah, so that's a big differentiator for us.
And you are also a playground builder, are you not?
I love the Playground Builder. I absolutely love it. So I'm part of Leadership Playground, and we have 3 basic values. Be curious, be focused, be brave. And my job as a playground leader is to make sure all 3 are embedded in our teams and our daily conversations. And you'd be surprised that sometimes it does require bravery to be curious, to then therefore be focused. And in the Lego Group, I absolutely love it. Jake, I'm not saying it to this page. Anybody who knows me feels like I'm such a walking advertisement of the Lego Group because it's such a wonderful company. They do allow you to be brave, and they do reward you for being brave. They actually do, encourage all of that.
I'm curious to know, so the behaviors of the Leadership Playground, as you mentioned, are brave, curious, and focused. I'm curious to know from the rest of you, how does that come to life in your area? Where do we see people being brave, curious, and focused? And what does that actually mean? Who wants to
I can
kick
tap
that off?
into that one.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kimberly Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I think working in the creative field, if you've ever done it before, it's a lot of passion, it's a lot of conversation, and it can also be subjective at times, and I think that's okay. But the one thing I do love about the Lego Group is the fact that everyone is encouraged to speak and everyone is encouraged to give their opinions. And I can say that even at an entry-level position, I always felt comfortable giving my opinion in rooms with people who are RVPs. So I think that's where it really shows up for me is the feedback opportunities you have and the opportunity to engage in honest dialogue about, what's best for the business. And that's kind of what everyone's rooted in. So.
Yeah, I would say and to give a little bit more perspective on the marketing organization that the Lego Group has, as you can imagine, we are aspiring to be a world-class marketing organization. And part of that global structure stems from our global colleagues. And so sitting in a local market, one of the ways that our team continues to be brave in a productive manner is to listen and be a voice back up to global from the US market and say, this is what kids are looking for. This is what is cool these days. And developing that research and staying close to the pulse of what's happening in the US market really allows us to be brave and develop origination campaigns that might not come from global and allow us to really expand the possibilities of how we excite and inspire kids all over the US. So those can also be a lot more challenging to execute and require a lot more integration and collaboration across teams, but that's what makes it so rewarding.
Kelly or Chris, do you want to tip in on this one?
Yeah,
Chris,
sure.
you go first.
Yeah, thanks. For somebody that's relatively new to the group, the amount of approachability that everybody has, because being curious and being brave and everything encourages people to go out and just start making or seeking context and seeking out others. And I can honestly say, even at the top levels of our company leadership, everybody is so approachable because of that, and they encourage it, and they really live that ethos every day.
And when I think about the culmination of all the values, you think about who we're hiring, right? And who we're bringing in. And it's a really important, it's a privilege to do that for this company. A company that has created and fostered so much nostalgia for so many different generations. You really kind of have to carry that. That's a true privilege. But one of the things that I admire the most about it is the authenticity and the ability to just seek people who are going to come in and be their authentic selves and live their values, because we can't improve the next generations of, Lego fans, be it kids, be it adults. We have a huge booming adult fan of Lego crew around the world. We can't do that. We can't create that nostalgic experience without so many different representations. And I think that the Boston office, just to bring up some questions we've gotten already, but also, in previous calls, the Boston office is kind of my little version of a melting pot. I mean, we have instances of every team here in the hub, but we have a very big focus on that commercial impact. So when you think about marketing, when you think about sales, operations, when you think about product development, like Chris is doing with the Creative Play Lab. But one of the teams that sits here that I'm most passionate about is our Lego education team. And if you're not familiar with them, they are so cool. They build hands-on learning tools and sets to be implemented in K-8 classrooms. And that's really an opportunity to get in front of kids, especially kids that might not have the resources to go out to your Target or, your local store and buy our sets, right? So it's that opportunity to create an even playing field and give everybody that chance to learn through play.
I'm glad that you brought up some of the different departments that we'll see in the Boston office. I'm also curious to know, with the roles that are being offered in Boston, what do we look for? We talked about those qualities of bravery, curiosity, and focus, but maybe we take it from a different angle. Maybe we should actually talk about, where did we come from before we came into the Lego Group, and what is our backgrounds? and what did our journey look like?
I could go first, I guess.
Thanks,
So I
Martha.
came from a variety of backgrounds. I came from publishing. I worked for Penguin Random House. Then I worked for Barnes and Noble, went to Disney, and then Warner Media. So I had a lot of, I guess, hodgepodge kind of background, but it all built up to this experience in the kids and the toy and the CPG industry. And that's why, you know, when I applied, the role was out of Denmark and then out of US. So they moved me from California to here. So I think what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter what exactly your background is. What they look for, or what I found my boss was looking for, was passion and experience that can actually come here and translate. Being, I guess, brave or being curious, my boss was like, you know what? I don't care if you've never worked with brick toys before. What I want is that, do you have that curiosity? Are you able to bring it to the table? And I truly think that that really is what people are looking for, even though I know you said outside of those three values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone else want to give it a go?
I can go next. I kind of pivoted into the toy industry from tech. So I kind of grew up, if you will, in the tech industry here in Boston. So I started with Wayfair, and then I moved over to Spotify and was there for 6 years. And what's been really neat about coming from Spotify to the Lego Group is it's two Scandinavian companies. And so you have this unique opportunity to really plug into these different cultures around the world. And you really have to do that in order to partner with global teams here. And so I think that set me up nicely to be able to really dive into the Danish culture, but also our different cultures, like our folks sitting in the UK. It's been a real treat getting to work for those global type folks.
I'm glad you mentioned the global and local kind of difference there. There was a question in the chat, and I'll just pick on it now, and maybe James and Kimberly Michael can take it. But what is the relationship there between global and local in terms of marketing, in terms of agency? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I would say we have a very close relationship with our global colleagues, and it's something that is continuously iterating month over month. I would say a large part of our campaigns are developed globally and then are executed locally. And then we have different learnings that can come from the local markets that feed back up into global to improve the next year, the next campaign. So it's an iterative process where that communication is free flowing, and we have really good, I'd say, monthly touch points that allow us to kind of enable that feedback process. I don't know if you want to add on to that, Kimberly. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really interesting about the OLA is that we actually sit within the global organization technically, but we service all of our individual markets. So in the Americas, we service not only the US, but also Mexico and Canada, as well as Brazil. So it's really nice in that way that we kind of get to work across both Americas. But I think James kind of hit it on the head that there's a lot of opportunity for collaboration, and, you know, some of the really larger projects, we have an opportunity to really amplify and help hyper localize them to make sure it's relevant for the consumers that we're servicing here. But in that same vein, we kind of get to do, you know, in the reverse and make sure that we have opportunities for things that we know are very clear to our markets. And I think that as an organization, we try to really understand like who is the consumer that we're serving, and that's one of the things I love about being in the markets, is that you kind of get to get into the nitty gritty of like, who is this person that's going to the store and grabbing the set, you know what I mean, and what experience are they having, and looking at like the omni-channel and integrated marketing plans and making sure that we're providing a really cohesive experience. So yeah, it's been really cool and really exciting, but definitely tons of collaboration and a lot of meetings with our colleagues in Denmark. So.
And I guess that's the core of why we have these these regional teams, right? So that we can be on the ground and know the people who are our consumers and our deepest fans. Yeah. I just happened to see one in the Q&A now about remote work, and I can see that some of you are remote right now. Can we talk a little bit about the remote policy?
Yeah, definitely.
James?
I'm a big fan of it. I mean, everyone I think has been influenced by the COVID pandemic and the impact that had on our workplace relationship. And so Lego Group took a policy to create best of both, is what we call it. And it's a 3-day in office policy with those 2 flex days being from home, really designed to allow you to adapt your schedule and create we do have is being in person, but then having the flexibility to take time when you need to be at home at your convenience is a way that allows us to do that. And for me, it's been working really well, and that's my take on it.
Nice. Anyone else want to pick up on that? Kelly, do you have
Yeah. Thanks, James. And I also kind of have a unique viewpoint on this, having just come back from maternity leave. So we are required to be in the office 3 days a week. And, I think that to James's point, so many folks might be scared away by that. But as I hope that I can be a good example of just how energizing it is. I spent the last 6 months really talking to an infant, which is like caveman English, right? And I just can't tell you all how thankful I am to have that opportunity to be in the space with you and just to learn through osmosis, right? Like you're sitting around all of these different colleagues. We don't sit in our teams. We really integrate within all of our different groups. And so I have a pulse on what's going on in the business at any one time. And that really empowers me and my team to go out and find the right people for the business. So just both from a personal standpoint, but also just from a, professional growth standpoint, it's really nice being in the space.
I mean, as somebody too that just has, I personally have a really long commute. I live more out in central Massachusetts, so it's quite a long train ride sometimes to get into Boston. So to be able to take this kind of like mental commute break is really re-energizing, and it just helps keep the balance. And in addition to all the benefits that I think everybody has talked about, I can be there to put my sons on the bus in the morning, and I can do other things that just really help take the stress out of daily life as a dad and as a husband and things like that.
Yes, I do miss that commute. I moved very close to the office. So I'm about 10 minutes away. And coming from New York City and Los Angeles, I used to have long commutes. And now I'm just like, wait, I do need that little mental break. So sometimes I'll just walk around extra to make it 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think I'll add that while we have our 3-day in policy, which is something that we all abide by, the Lego Group is a very family-oriented company. And I think you definitely see that in the, like if you have a doctor's appointment, like go to your doctor's appointment. You know what I mean? I think that's something I really appreciated about it, is that in truth, and the fact that it is family owned, it truly is family oriented in whatever way family means and looks like for you. And so I think that flexibility and just more so understanding, I would say, is part of the culture here. It's not necessarily, it just kind of trickles down. And I think it does trickle down from the top and saying that, we understand like people have sick kids, people have, things that go on in their lives that are important to tend to. And I really appreciated that opportunity to kind of tend to any family that I have and things of that sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are great policies in place to take care of family and to have family and to the things that we need as employees in order to be functioning well in our jobs are very well thought out at the Lego Group. You were going to say something, Chris, I think?
Yeah, I think we actually just updated the policy a little bit, or maybe I just learned it. But there's the ability to even work remotely from another country for, I think, up to 5 days a year, right? To enable people that need to travel to see family or to do things like that, right? It's a great amount of flexibility that's built to it, and it goes way beyond just home and office. It really is kind of a comprehensive thought process around it.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Kimberly, Michael. I mentioned the owner family, and it's quite unique that if not exactly unique, but an organization of this size is owned by a single family and has been since the beginning. But we're also partly owned by a foundation. So the Lego Foundation owns a large chunk of the Lego Group, and so there's a question in the chat, and I just wanted to get to it. I don't know if any of you have experience with the Lego Foundation or not, but and they also have a relationship with Lego Education and some of the other entities that are working in the Boston area as well. But did anyone have something they wanted to mention on that one? Are any of us
All
working?
I can say, well, I know that the Lego Foundation, it is a separate part of our overall Lego group, right? So we work, I think most of us work for the Lego Systems Incorporated. The Lego Foundation is a kind of another arm of the Lego group. And I think moving to Boston, I'm really excited to see how we bring this to life. I was part of an early group that was trying to organize how we would bring to life so many of the ways we've connected with the community in Enfield and Connecticut, where we're moving from, and how we're going to set that up and be a part of the greater Boston community. And I know it's going to be incredible. And I can't share any specifics because I'm not fully involved in those conversations, but I was part of an early thought group as part of a running community. We already have a run club and multiple clubs that are in-office personnel are developing. But I'm excited to see, for example, how the Lego 5K, something that we ran for a long time as a community event in Enfield, is going to come to life in Boston in the future years.
I love that you brought up events.
So I think the foundation is a
I love that you brought up events and the types of things that we do in the Lego group that are sort of outside of our work. I'd like to hear a little bit more about, maybe from each of you, how you sort of live those in your location, and some of those events, if we could tap into those.
Also,
Are you thinking outside of our daily life? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Outside of the daily work, yeah.
So I mean, we have that picnic that everyone looks forward to. At least I look forward to, and the kids do too. Where once a year in summer we get a day to bring our families to a park or something, and we just connect with each other and with the kids. And it's literally a day without work. And similarly, we have Play Day, which I absolutely love, and so bummed that I had to miss this year. But a day where we just log off, no work, and it's not no work that day. It's no work that you have to do the day before, like until midnight or something. It's a normal day the day before, normal day the day after, but you get a day off to connect, to play, and kind of like refill your cup with all the play values that we talk about. So those are two of my favorite out of office events. I don't do any of the, like the weekly events because, like Kelly, I have a little ball and chain at home that I try to run through, but I do love those corporate big events where, I could bring my family and engage and actually just kind of get such joy out of.
We do have corporate programs around. Oh, sorry, Kimberly, Michael, you go.
No, go ahead. You?
Well, I was just going to say we have formal volunteer days, which are really nice, and teams do really galvanize around passion projects for each other in the community. But one of my favorite programs here at the Lego Group is a program, an ambassador program that we affectionately internally call Store Wars, where it's your opportunity to actually go during the holiday season, which is our busiest season, understandably. You actually get to go and work at a store and help on the floor. So getting to talk to kids or parents or grandparents that come in and are looking at product, and you just get to really feel that connection to our consumers. A personal example, I worked Store Wars last year at a Target local to Boston, and I spent probably about 45 minutes with the sweetest grandmother, just helping her pick out a set for her grandson. And it gives me goosebumps to think about, because like so many of us being Lego employees, we're all really caring and nurturing people, really high on the empathy scale. And when you get to understand the impact that you're doing on a day-to-day basis in a corporate setting, and you get to see it live in the stores, it's just really hard to replace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly hit it on the head. I was going to mention the volunteer days, but I also think like there's so much opportunity, like even within your actual work day, to kind of like, have moments. Like right now we have a pizza wars going on in the office. where they're bringing in different pizzas from all across Boston that we're able to kind of try and vote on. Some other things, there are always sets being built within the organization. So there are times where someone will drop in the chat and say, hey, if you've got 10 minutes, come open a pack and finish it up. And there's also Lego bricks in all of the rooms. And so there are times where I've been in a meeting, and as we're thinking, I'm also simultaneously building, because it kind of helps me get, all of my creative juices out. So I think that there's tons of opportunity, as everyone said, with like play day and other things like that. But also I think the organization does a great job of providing fun and play within your day-to-day. And I really appreciate that. And another thing, we just had a watch party for Piece by Piece, the movie with Pharrell Williams. So there's some really fun stuff to do in and outside of the office.
I guess piggybacking, and this is getting a little nitty gritty, but we also have these employee advocacy groups, which I personally love. I'm part of the Women in Leadership, and through them, I've met a lot of organizations where I volunteer outside of work, but even in the office, I know I have a core group of people I can go to in confidence and ask any advice or anything. And I just love that. And it's not just for women, they're all different sorts of clubs that we have, or I guess advocacy groups that, where you can feel belonged, or where you can bring up your concerns and make friends.
Love that. There are so many great clubs and groups and activities within the Lego group. The one that comes out about this time of year every year that I get really excited about is our Build to Give program. And this is in the Build to Give program. This is where the Lego group, for every brick that built, heart that is built and then shared with Build to Give hashtag, the Lego group donates a set to children who are in need of play. And I think we have all done a bit of building here. Yeah. Fantastic. I love that. I made a little screen in mine so I could put you all in my heart.
That's good, Jake.
Screen of yours too, Kelly.
I have to say, and Kimberly Michael just touched on this, but it's actually a question that I get a lot from people that are asking me about what it's like to work with the Lego group. And they say, do you actually build Lego sets, or do you play it? Yes, we really do. And we actually just finished up a team building exercise with a subset of some of our new joiners that are in the CPL in Boston. And we built the Harry Potter set, which allows up to 4 simultaneous builders. So we all just kind of got there as a group and started building things. Dungeons and Dragons, not Harry Potter. Dungeons and Dragons set. It's huge. It's glorious, and it was a great couple hours. We could sit down as a team and just kind of bond.
I actually spotted the Home Alone house in the back too. Heading into Home Alone season.
Oh yeah, it is.
So I put a couple bricks on. I noticed that the mac and cheese is actually there for any of you. If you know, you know.
There was a couple of questions in the chat that talk about development and talk about education. So I want to hit on some of those as well. Can we talk a little bit about maybe your educational experience? What are your development plans like, and how is that supported in the Lego group?
Yeah, I can speak to this. So again, I'm an early career professional. I haven't been out of school for longer than 3 years. So for me, this is obviously a very big point. And I actually had the opportunity to ask some of our leadership team this when they came to Boston. And it's definitely a priority of the organization. I think that they find ways to support us through our IDP. So we have individual development plans. You're encouraged to go in and really list out, what part of the organizations are you interested in working in? What is the growth trajectory that you want to have? And your leader takes the time to work with you. They take the time to talk through it, find opportunities for you to get involved and maybe see different sides of the business. I also think, kind of to what Chris said earlier, this is a very accessible organization. There is no one who is going to reject your meeting unless they quite literally can't make it. And so I've found that it's great to be able to build relationships with people throughout the organization. And that is not hard to do here, which I think isn't always the case. Sometimes it's hard to meet the right person or hard to kind of get your name around to the right leaders. So I think that's some of the ways. And in regards to educational opportunities, I think learning is just kind of a part of the organization and what you do. We have so many awesome things. There's there's an entire site, I don't want to mispronounce the name, but there's an entire site dedicated to marketing where you can go in and take different trainings and take different classes. I mean, every single week I have something popping up on my calendar about here's how you can learn this. We had a marketing legal course that was 10 weeks and we all went through and learned everything about what it means to market and marketing to kids and all these things. So just in my 6 months here, I feel like I've learned so much, but not just about the Lego Group itself, also about like my personal discipline, which I really, really appreciate. So.
The Lego Group has some formal programs too, so I think, Kelly, you might be better to speak at it, but we have a Better Up or Something coaching program that people can partake in. We have Lego Academy, or Marketing Academy, where you can take formal courses. And then just being part of Leadership Playground, we get specific courses around different things about how to give feedback, how to take feedback, how to ... whatever it is you want to learn as a leader. So we get a lot of that. And then like Kimberly Michael said, there's so much flexibility. I'm actually going back to school to get my MBA, and I have gotten nothing but support, even though there's no like specific program in place for that. I just talk to my boss, and I talk to the head of HR, and they're like, cool, you got in, let's support you. So I do think it's a company where, you can find a way to do whatever it is you want to do and learn.
And a quick plug on that, just from a tactical recruiting standpoint, we open all of our roles internally first, and we are very big proponents of internal mobility. There are so many great stories about even our store managers coming into corporate roles, right? And like opening that opportunity for our folks first is really special. And I get to see it in action, right? Because my team oversees that. But it's really neat to hear the pivot stories and the success stories.
Nice. We have just a few minutes left, and there's one question on here that I'd really like us all to try and answer, and it is, why Lego? So from your personal perspective, maybe you could just put, I don't know, 3 or 4 words to why the Lego Group for you.
I mean, why not? It is. I've worked at some of the top global brands, and hands down, I could go back to Disney and say this, that the Lego Group is the best company I've worked for. I've always felt included. I've always felt supported. So I just feel like, why not?
Mm-hmm. Great. James?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's passion and curiosity for me. I think the type of thinking that we're looking for in candidates and in our colleagues is infectious and really about bringing your unique energy to the table. And I think we create room for that in all of our teams and across our teams. And so I think that's what makes us unique. The other big thing I would mention is, family owned, because you really have that security, I think, behind our mission and our purpose in the world. And I think our owner family really sees that. And so when you align with your personal values and mission to the company, for me, that was a big part of joining the Lego Group, was the alignment of my mission and values. So, that's shared, and you really feel it.
Love that. Thanks, James. Kimberly Michael.
Yeah, I would say it's limitless. I don't know. I think there's something so cool about the fact that you can build anything. And I'll be frank, like I wasn't a Lego bricks builder before I joined the organization, but I love the thought that we can tap into every passion, we can tap into every niche, we can tap into anything, One of the projects I'm currently working on is our F1 partnership that we just announced. And I love that we've been able to just tap into what is such a cool part of culture globally for so many people. So yeah, I think you never know what projects are coming down the pipeline. I'm going to stop there before I get in trouble, but it's cool to kind of see just how far we can kind of stretch, how far the brick can go. Yeah, it's awesome.
Great. Chris and Kelly, would you wrap it up with an answer there?
Yeah. It's so hard to summarize. There's so many reasons I could think of, but to me, like the physical play, the importance of physical play in lives, children, adults, it doesn't matter. It can do so much for somebody. It's such a big part of the development too of childhood, and I constantly think about my sons and how much I can change their world, and that of many other people that are that I know that are important, I love, but also just generally globally, and to have the reach that the brand has is just, it's so fulfilling, right? To see the impact that you can make.
I love that impact. Kelly, maybe 2 quick words on it.
Oh my God, nostalgia
Mm-hmm.
and adventure.
Oh, I love that adventure. That's at my heart too. Thank you all. You have been fantastic guests, and I wish that we could go for another hour on this because the energy is there. I can really feel it, and we're starting just now to get to the heart of some really, I think, important issues. I know we didn't answer every question that's in the chat, and I'm sorry about that. Our team will have a look at those questions, and we'll try to get back to you over the next couple of days. Please join us next week for Live Behind the Bricks as we go behind the bricks in Hungary and Mexico in some of our production facilities and our offices there. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Everyone. Bye.